Yes, yes, yes. This is the HL podcast for our HL Tuesdays. We are the dopest podcast in the DMV, presented to you all by the Harris Firm and Willpower Innovations. I
Yes,
am
sir.
Amrock alongside your boy Chief.
Man, let's get it, man. I'm excited about this one.
Let's get it. Now, tonight, people, this is our HL interviews where we sit down and converse with the up and coming and established, the talented and intelligent, the artists and entrepreneurs and the creators and the activists. All right. Now, people, please remember that all of our previous interview episodes are available on all major podcast platforms and on our YouTube channels at the HL Podcast and on the EEM Network. All right. That's the EEM Network. All right. Right now, we are broadcasting live on the Roku platform and Apple TV on the Politic app via Politic and Broadcasting. A special shout out to the StreamYard platform where we are live right now on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And lastly, people, I don't know, do we have it? Yeah, we got it. We got it scrolling.
So it's about to scroll over.
Scroll across, but we are officially re-releasing the docu-film, The Lost Weekend. It will be available, as it says right there, scrolling on the bottom, this Friday, May 14th. Okay, again, it'll be available exclusively on the EEM Network YouTube channel. All right, yes. The EEM Network YouTube channel. All right, so go to YouTube, type in EEM.
Yep.
Boom, it'll pop up right there. The Lost Weekend. You'll see it.
That's
the
right.
building, all of that. You'll see that. Again, this has been a great learning process for Chief and I, who are executive producers on this project. Our company's visions that transcend, and Black creators being behind this project. We're just, I hope I can speak for you, Chief, and say that we're proud and excited, and now, as we was doing earlier, we just gearing up for the next one. We just getting ready for the next one. But we definitely enjoyed this process.
For sure.
But we had to give it to y'all right. That's why we doing the re-release.
Yeah, for sure. We learned a lot. We learned a lot, man. It's stuff we couldn't YouTube, guys. It's stuff that we had to sit with each other, with God, and partner with God to figure these things out. And it was exciting to redo it, to actually go through and fix, what we did. We was like, this, that, and then now, man, wow. So
now
be ready.
Now it's perfect.
Yes, and like Amrock said, we made it easy for you guys. It's out there, and if you can't find it on YouTube, we made it way easier than that. It's gonna be in our link trees and each and every one of our profiles on Instagram. That's from EEM to VGT to Blackwords Creators, Harris Farm, all of that stuff is going to be up there. So we made it easy for you guys to find. So no excuses.
Right. Facts. And also, people, another exclusive, the HL Magazine will be back on June 10th of this year. We are dropping our next issue of the HL Magazine on June
right there,
10th.
matter of fact. Yep, right there on the bottom.
Right there scrolling. So be on the lookout. What's that? Number 8? Number 8, right?
That's number 8.
Yeah, number 8.
That's number 8. Yeah.
And coming up on a year when we dropped the first one. So that's dope. That's dope. So hey, we excited about tonight. Tell them who we got, Chief.
Man, we got a singer, we got a songwriter, and an actress with us tonight. Please be ready. She's a soul person for us, and we needed this for the day. If y'all was needing some kind of soul, we got it tonight.
Talented. Very talented.
Very talented. And Jordan Orionn, we're gonna bring her in right now. Let's see. Boom.
Hello.
How are you?
I am great. I am really great. I've been hype all day about this interview. How are you guys?
That's perfect.
We just appreciate you being on. We was hyped as well for this one. So yeah,
for sure. Let's get to it. The first one to make. So let's do it. So we like to start off just diving right in. So I'm gonna read one of your quotes off of your page, and it says, "I plan and I plot, searching for euphoria." Right. So I asked this question mixed with this quote because me and Amrock ourselves, we're big mental health advocates. We like to work on mental health and be healthy for the people that surround us now and later on in the generation, so that don't get passed on. So with that being said, how is your mental right now in 2021 and 2020? How is your health? How is it? Is it fluctuating? Is it going up and down? Are you stable? Are you
Yeah.
still working? Give the people on how you feeling right now.
But to be honest, it's been a little like all over the place. I'm going left, right, up, down, north, east, west. I don't know. I don't know how to feel right now.
Yeah.
I honestly, I know last year, personally for me, 2020, it was a weird for I feel like everybody. Everybody was like that year was just like it wasn't what we expected.
Yeah.
So coming into this year, I was like, we're gonna come in with a new mind. We're gonna come in with new goals. We're gonna just come in as our authentic self, and we're gonna try our aim for every day to have, a positive one. So with me going about my days like that now, I find myself, I won't say I'm stable. We kind of just like, a river. We're floating up and down, but we're
Sure.
staying on the path of where I'm trying to go.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my answer.
I like that. I like that analogy. You still on the river. You still there, but it's always in ebbs and flows. I agree with that. I agree. So take us back to the beginning. So you're originally from Texas, correct?
Yes, I am.
So
Little
what part of
Texas.
Texas are you actually from?
I'm from a little town called Killeen, a very, very much an army town. And yeah, I just grew up here, a lot of diversity, and also has inspired me a lot. So yeah.
So how was it like growing up with like your family down there? Was it rough? Was it smooth sailing?
Well, it was growing up. I had a great childhood, honestly. Both my parents, they had me really young, so we kind of like matured together. And with that maturing, we had like every family our problems, things we had to get through. But for the most part, my parents and just my brother, my granny, when that's my intimate family that lives with us, or not lives with me, but I'm around most. And they've always just been really supportive of my endeavors, of my aspirations, and I, me too with them. So yeah, growing up, and then not only that, but my parents are very inspirational to me because they kind of, I feel like every child, your parents make you who you are in the sense they inspire you,
Sure.
and they have done that a lot for me. A lot of my wisdom, I think, comes from my mom because she's always like, she will send me quotes throughout the day, like just corny quotes sometimes. She's like, I just want to encourage you. I just want you to know what's going on, or the news, just to keep me informed. And my dad with music, he's my biggest inspiration with music, and he's always sending me new artists to listen to, new documentaries to watch, and just even different videos about skills, like to just, better my, talent or whatever. So yes, to answer your question, growing up was pretty dope.
That's great. That's great. Shout out to the great parents. Shout out to your parents for building you to who you are.
Yeah. I was gonna say real quick and happy belated Mother's Day to you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So do you remember the first time like being introduced to music? Like for me personally, I love basketball. I tell the story all the time. I remember when I first picked up the basketball. I mean, that is history now. Do you remember your first time listening to music and say, that's what I'm gonna do?
Yes, so I think, like I said, growing up, music, especially on my dad's end, has always been a very big part of my development. The thing is, I don't think I really understood the grasp of music and the way that it can touch people and the way that it can inspire people and really just be an oasis for people until I was age 7. And the reason why I remember this like vividly, because I was listening to artists like Amy Winehouse, who else? Nas. I was listening to like artists like Tupac. Then I was listening to oh Lord, I lost my thing. Chrisette Michelle, Anita Baker. I can go on and so forth, right? So listen to those artists at a young age. I wrote my song, and it was from me being 7, not going through any struggles really. Living pretty privilegely, my parents. I'm like talking about, the story was about a guy that was on drugs trying to better his life for his daughter. And I wrote that song and I showed my mom, and I remember my mom was like, I don't like that, because what are you talking about? She was just very like, I don't understand what the song is about. But I think that's when I really understood, like, I love the art of storytelling, if that's writing and or singing. And I think that's how everything just kind of started festering into me now. So yeah.
That's good. So at age 7, you knew.
Yes, I didn't know.
Mm.
I didn't know. I think it was just a inkling. Like this, I like this beat. I have a story that's not my own, but I have a story I want to tell. And then I think until I maybe got age 12 is when I really start knowing like I'm dope. Like I have lyrics and I have a story to tell. And when I started being more authentic in my writing about my feelings, or just taking other people's situations and kind of just making it just beautiful to me, it became just something that I really enjoyed. And I think that's when I really knew at age like 12. I was like, okay, you got something. You got something.
Yeah. So your 7-year-old self kind of gave you the glimpse into
Hmm.
what it, and then now your 12-year-old self.
Yeah.
So when did you go ahead,
I'm sorry.
man? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, real quick. You're not alone with that story. I have a very similar story. I write and do stuff. I've been doing it since like I was about 7, 8 years old as well. I wrote a story one time for my mom's about some gangsters in New York, and we not even in New York. We live in. She's like, "What the hell is? What are you writing?" What? So very like when you told the story, I was like, that's great, like yo, like we have. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chief. Go ahead,
That's
John.
So is
dope.
that a
That's really
writer's
dope.
thing?
But that was
I'm
just
not a
crazy.
writer, so I never. So that's what y'all do
It
on
might
that side,
be.
huh?
It might be like we just make story like I think writers are authentically storytellers.
Yeah,
Even
for
if it's
sure.
not our own, it's like if we
Mm-hmm.
can make it make sense in
Mm.
a melodic way, we gonna make it make sense in a melodic way.
Right.
That makes
Right.
sense. So since we're on
Mhm.
this topic, can you give us like the process that you go through when you're creating
Mhm.
your music, when you're writing? Can you give us a glimpse into that?
Yeah, so I find this my whole process very interesting because I'm really private. I don't like people asking me about it. Like, don't ask me about what I'm writing. I'm just writing,
Mm,
okay?
mm,
But my process, honestly, I would hear sometimes I'll be doing anything. I can be like folding, putting some chapstick on,
yeah,
driving. I can
yeah,
be, putting lotion on my hands. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I know those so random like activities I was just pointing
Wow.
out. But, and then next, I would just have a line. Usually I
Okay.
have a
Mm,
phrase, a
Mm-hmm.
word that I want to implement some
mm,
way, somehow into a song. So
mm,
then from there, I'll get in my room, chill, do what I do, work, do what I do, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would just get my. I love the art of actually, or I love the process of actually getting a pen to a paper.
agreed.
So
Okay.
I think a lot of people now do, and virtually like will type it in. For me, I can't write doing that way. So,
Same,
but that's
same.
sidebar.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I would then start writing just randomly,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll just have a song. But the thing was, when I first started writing music, I didn't write to a beat. So I would
Mm,
already make a beat up in my head.
wow. Okay.
And that would be a struggle when I'm trying to show it to my dad or my mom. So my mom was like, my parents would be like, that's dope, but like, what's the beat? You can't just do everything a cappella. So
Mm,
then I started, now I'm inspired. I find myself getting inspired by beats. When I hear beat, I feel like the beat first gives you the introduction to a story.
for sure.
It's your job to fit in the middle and the end.
For
Mm-hmm.
sure.
So I usually have the beginning already festered up, and then when I'm listening to beat in it as it continues, then I just start writing. And I wouldn't say it's effortless because I find myself sometimes getting frustrated on writing because I want to use the right words and convey it in a. I feel like I'm just a long answer, but this is.
No, keep on going. We listening. I love this explanation. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's telling.
But for me, writing is sometimes like a love hate because I know how I want to convey it, but it's not coming the way I want it to convey it.
Right.
So it takes me a while sometimes to write a song. Sometimes it can take me a day, and sometimes it can take me months because it's
Mm,
like that's my baby. And I'm not gonna just put on some half butt stuff
for
and
sure.
show out that way. So that's my process. And then when I'm done, then I'm like, let's go to the studio. Let's
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah.
it
Right.
together now.
Yeah. So how do you
Right.
get your mind right to go and then record it? Because that's a transition. You got it on the paper, right? And
Hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
actually a Bible verse. Many of the plans of a man heart, but God's purpose will shall prevail. You got to have the
Hmm.
plan first, right? So you got the
Yes.
plan. Now it's the purpose. What's the
Hmm.
transition between the two when you get in there? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are
Hmm.
you ready to go as soon as you get in the booth? How is that feeling right there?
See, I feel like everything with me is always like a love hate because
Yeah.
I'm such a perfectionist. So I
Mm,
go into the studio knowing what I want to do. Like I know how I want to do this note. I know how I want this melody to go. I know
mm,
how I want my tone to be. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I get in the studio, I'm so stuck in my head that it doesn't
mm,
like work. So a process that, especially in the making of my EP, I Am Orion. I have to give myself time. We're not gonna, because if, like I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I could take all day to do something. Like I have the time, I'm gonna be in that studio forever.
I hear that.
But I started allotting myself 2-hour increments. You have 2 hours. And then I always have my dad in the studio with me, because unlike me, my dad, again, he's very talented. He's very musicy, but he does not overthink things. So sometimes, like when I'm in the studio and he knows I'm getting frustrated, or I'm like, I know what I want to do. I have to just get out. We do a little dancey dance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we go back in there, and I'm just like,
Boom.
my mind's free. So now that I'm starting to doing that more, especially, I think that was a beautiful thing about the making of my EP. I started to really love the studio. Like I felt like another home to me, that I was getting acquainted with. And now I just feel like it's my song, it's me. So just express me and my lyrics, my story into a microphone. Like, you got this. So that's kind of how I prepare myself. I just go in there and I'm just like, or now this is how I prepare myself. I don't go in there any expectations, because sometimes when you're in the studio, it just magic happens. Like, you can't plan all the time. So I'm just going in there like, you're in there. Do what you do when you're there. Know what you want to say. Know the lyrics, of course, but be in the moment. That's the thing. Be in the moment is something I'm learning a lot. So
present is being key. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, Quincy, I think I told you this, Chief, as well. Quincy Jones said, 80% of it is that preparation, and but then the other 20%, you got to let God come into the room.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel that.
I hear that. So you're also an actress as well. What drew you into that world? I know that's creativity in itself, and that's of course expressive arts too. So like, what drew you into that as well? Is that a part of like the family dynamic as well, or that's just you? That's what you came with?
No, none of those actually. What happened was I was going to work with a management company, and I was going there for to be a model, because I just like, I'm cute, I can do a little walk.
Right, there you go.
Okay.
And then they pretty much crushed my dreams. They said, well, you're too short, so you can't be a model. And I was like, oh. But they said my personality and the way I'm very expressive, they were like, have you ever tried acting? And I was like, no. And I had to be, this was coming out like early on in middle school for me. So I had to be like 12, 13. So I was like, no, but I'm willing to try, because I'm not going to shoot anything down if I haven't tried it.
Right.
And then from there, that's when I started doing plays in my, community school with Carrie Ann Fraser. I just started doing a whole bunch of stuff. And then I was like doing little commercials. And I was like, I kind of like this a little bit. So that's how I started, acting, how everything played out. And I think it also has really helped me with my music too, because it's like, I'm a character, and I feel like that it has influenced. I feel like they're very intertwined. Both my music and acting have helped me, express the words or the script, how they want it to be conveyed. So
that makes a lot of sense. The expressive arts is the best thing in the world, to express yourself, which they don't want you to do. They want you to be great. They being the oppressors, they want you to be great. But we colorful people, baby.
Yes.
They can't stop us, right?
No, you cannot.
You can't. So I want to ask you a business question, because of course me and Amber, we are businessmen, and we like to own our content. People like to say own their master. So how do you feel about having control over your brand, and how important it is to have control and own your own music?
It's very important. Like you guys said, it's a smart thing to do, because you get all the benefits and profit off of it. And especially if you're doing the work, like, it's smart to be the CEO of what you're doing. In a sense. I know with everything, I'm a very possessive person, especially when it comes to my art, my music, my lyrics. I like to know what's in my name. I like to know that I'm getting percentage. Now, if I get help from somewhere else, of course you need to pay them because they did you a service. But everything, for the most part, I'm very cognizant of, like, especially as a young woman, I feel like I have to own what I do, because you can be taken advantage of a lot in this industry, and I'm not going to be one of those victims. And that's why I'm also want to get into law, because I feel like it's very important to know the business background, because we find a lot, and it's unfortunate, we find a lot of young women, young men who find themselves in like sketchy contracts, find themselves in situations they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
And I just want to always prepare myself to the best of my ability, so I'm not put in those situations. Of course, you're going to fall on your head a few times, but if you can prevent that, I'm obviously going to do that. So
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, especially as a young woman, and then of course, young Black woman in this world. For the viewers to hear that, I read a quote. I forget the book, but he said the most scalable commodity in the next century is going to be IP, which is intellectual property. You know, and that's what individuals create themselves. So if they know it's scalable, we need to know it's scalable as well, so that we keep the percentage so we can feed our families later on in life. That's what generational wealth is, right? So
yes,
I'm glad
sir,
that you said that. It's perfect to hear.
Yeah. So now, last year, right? Pandemic happens. The COVID happens last March, right? We've had artists, musicians on before, and they say, when that happened, a lot of things stopped, right? Like, you might have had this show planned, or you was gonna drop this, or whatever the case may be. How was the initial reaction for you once COVID hit last March, and it was like, okay, well, now it seems like everything is pretty much stopped. How was that initial impact for you?
And you're talking about creatively or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay. So when that happened, it was a shock. Honestly, I didn't know how to feel when it initially happened. I was just like, at first I was like, this is dope, kind of. I didn't know, of course, the extent of the virus, but I thought it was dope because I didn't have to go to school. Like,
right.
I was like, I don't got to go to school. We get a little couple extra days off, extended spring break. But then as it continued, I will say it messed with me a good amount. I just found myself, I felt like I'm a busybody. I like to work. I like to do stuff. And I felt myself having a lot of down moments. Now, I love my rest and chilling moments, but I felt like there's a lot of them because I was not inspired to do much except be in the house, look at my family's beautiful face every single day. And I was just like, wow. I just felt very stagnant. And it was interesting. It was interesting. So that's how I felt.
Okay. Yeah. No, and as far as creatively, how did that affect you with the music?
Creatively, I think it cultivated a lot of stories. My mom, I know when it first happened, when I was first in shock, especially because by that time, I think I missed my prom by this point. So I was really emotional. My mom was like, look, you can't do that. But, you have something that I think you need to keep working on. You're writing. So she would text me like, remember to write today. Or she would just tell me like, you need to don't allow your creative ability to go stagnant. So I started just writing a lot. And I didn't even think I was going to drop my EP. I didn't even think I was going to make an EP until I started writing. And then I was like, Mom, Dad, I got some songs. And then they hyped me up a little bit more. And they were like, I guess we got a project going. And I guess in a sense, having that time of just because I think even though COVID brought a lot of heartache, I also think it brought a lot of insightfulness and just time to be in a place of just like, whew, and that whew time, I don't know what the whew time is, but the whew time allowed me to, sit right and be focused on just that. And so I'm really grateful in that sense for it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned your EP, I Am Orionn, which was incredible, very, very soulful, very thought-provoking.
Thank you.
When I first, listened to it, I was like, yo, like this is incredible music. How are you feeling about this accomplishment? And can we expect the album? Can you drop that right now? I don't know if it's an exclusive, but can you drop if an album's on the way, if you about to start touring? Please give us the spill.
Okay, so let's just start off with the EP. How I'm feeling. I am feeling freaking awesome. You see the head movement. I'm feeling great. I am so proud of that, and just the response of it, because it's funny, as an artist, of course you're going to think what you do is dope, are good enough for you to put it out to the masses. So the response that I've been getting just from peers, from just supporters that I don't know personally, but they just like, I like your music, I'm vibing to it. It made me feel like my message, my thought process, my personality was accepted in a sense. Nor do I really care about being accepted, but to just know people are accepting my music in their space and allowing it to feed their soul. I was like, this is something that I want to always do. Or if I'm not doing it, I want to be a part of someone doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a beautiful thing. Now, for my future endeavors, yes, I have stuff coming up. Your girl, I'm excited. I have a lot coming up. I can't say too much, but an album is on the way. And I just have a lot of ventures that I'm going to be stepping into here soon. So I'm really excited. And if you guys want to follow me at my Instagram, Jordan Orionn, 2 N's, Twitter, the same thing, YouTube, the same thing, as spelled on the little side of the screen. You guys will see everything. So yeah.
So with these other ventures, I know you can't say exactly, but what is what is it in? What's the realm? Is it clothing? Is it
Oh no, other ventures. I should have said same venture. It's pretty much music.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much music, but I just have a lot of things coming about my music and as a writer and as an artist. And yeah, I'm really excited for this next chapter that will be entering here soon. So yeah.
May I ask, how are you feeling free within this purpose? Like, I know before maybe you was feeling like me and Emrock would say, like, sometimes we felt locked in back in the day, like a caged lion. And now that we feeling fulfilled in this purpose, we feel kind of like a free lion. Though as a free lion, there's some authority, just like a bird can't fly to the moon, as Dr. Miles Monroe say, but it can soar freely. Do you feel like you're soaring freely right now after this EP?
Yes, a bit. I feel like this release of music has allowed me to feel confident enough in what I do and my purpose. But again, I'm always so hard on myself. So I'm always like, I'm in a box. The EP, I could stick a finger out, and I'm just like, "Ooh, freedom." But then I'm like, but I'm still in a box, and I'm always in my head, and I'm always trying to do better than that. So yeah, I wish I could feel. I wish I was the type of person to be like, oh, I'm just feeling like a bird soaring, but I just feel still kind of in a box, but not in a bad way though. It's like a box of like fulfillment. Like I still just want to keep filling my box up. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife before. It's like a caterpillar going into a butterfly. It still was a caterpillar, which means the butterfly is still a caterpillar at heart, right? So of course at heart you still feeling like I still got to grow. I still got to be something. I still got to progress past the stage. So I definitely understand that.
And that's God telling you too, right? Like this is just the beginning, or this is just this milestone right here, but there's more to come. That's that feeling that you get like, nah, this ain't it. I'm happy about this. I'm excited, but this isn't it. It's more to come. So
sure.
That's dope. That's dope. So how do you feel about the music industry as a whole, and have you experienced any positives and negatives within the music industry?
How am I feeling about it as a whole? I think the music industry, I think it's a dope industry. I mean, if you're an artist, you sending a message or whatever that might be, that's your path. I think if I have to be, truthful, I think that a lot of messages aren't feeding me sometimes. And I'm a big advocate towards the message of what you're putting out there. I know growing up, my mom was famous for saying this: the beat's dope, you can boogie and stuff to the beat, but what are the words saying? What are you dancing to? What are you vibing to? How is that feeding your soul? So I just feel like, yes, I listen to a lot of music. I love music in all the genres, but I want to hear more messages that are actually purposeful, that's actually encouraging, that's actually, and I don't think music has to always have a I guess, an assignment to like, I need to encourage people, I need to do this, but it needs to in some way inspire people
Yes.
in any
Yes.
way that, you know, may be.
Yeah.
Your second question, I forgot it.
Oh, have you experienced any positives or negatives within the industry?
I would say positives. I think I've just learned a lot with different artists
Okay.
and, you know, just, you know,
Okay.
getting new information and getting, you know, some critiques in the sense of like, maybe you need to work on this to better
Yeah.
this and the third.
Okay. Okay.
Negatives, I would say, nothing super negative. I just get that
That's
my
good.
age, my music is sometimes mature, and
Mhm.
I am just like, I don't know, I'm like, my writing's mature for my age, but I'm like, but that's my experience and that's
Yeah.
what
Right.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
wouldn't say it's like negative, but I guess it's just people's preference. And
Yeah.
I'm just still learning how to meet people's preference when I'm working with people, but at the same time stay true to the artist
For
I
sure.
am, Jordan
Yes.
Orionn. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and speaking of your music again, when I first heard your music, obviously you are Jordan Orion, you have your own style. That this is you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're all influenced. Whatever you do, right? You might be influenced by something, or whatever the case may be, right? So when I first heard your EP, I immediately got the Erykah Badu vibes mixed with the India.Arie storytelling, right?
Oh,
That's
that's
immediately that's what came to me. I'm like, oh shit, like what is
Yeah. Yeah.
like what is like
Yeah.
this is incredible,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and so what album, I'm curious, what albums, that you have, in your catalog that inspired you
Wow,
to,
that's a
Ooh.
good.
to write the way that you write. I know obviously
Mhm.
life experiences, but we've all been like, we're getting into the film realm, and I look at films that have inspired me, and then I try to, okay, I like that, I like this, and then
Mhm.
try to blend it and come up with it. And I'm sure Chief is the same way, and that's how we collaborate, right? So
Yeah.
what album, influenced you that way?
That was a good question. Hold
Yeah.
on, let me
Yeah.
think of
Yeah.
my thing because I have two that
Okay.
really did something
Okay.
to me. The first album is by my queen, Amy Winehouse. I don't think you guys understand how much I love this woman's art. I think she was dope as ever.
Absolutely.
Her album, I think it's Frank, her first album she put out.
Yeah, I
And
think that is Frank. I think that is. I think you're
yes,
right. Yeah.
Frank.
Yep.
I think that album, it just did something to me. She
Yeah.
was, I think, as a woman, I feel like stereotypically women artists are thought to just talk about guys, relationships, all of this heartbreak, all that other stuff. And I feel like as a woman, it was cool to hear her talking about other subjects
Mm.
that didn't revolve around men, didn't revolve
Yeah.
around love, but just
Yeah.
life as a
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
And I'm living life as a young woman, so
Mhm.
it's so much more than just one aspect of it. I love how she just branched out. Another album that really did something to me too. I'm talking about. I'm on iTunes trying to look,
No, you
I
good.
know you good.
but what was it? Oh, CeeLo Soul. Oh, Cleo
Mm.
Soul. This woman,
Mm.
first off, I love her voice, and I I first started listening to her album in 2020. And I first heard her album, it's called Rose in the Dark. Check it out if you
Mm.
haven't. This album, just melodically, it
Yeah.
is beautiful. It's a piece of art, literally. And I loved how I think the thing I loved about it was music, live music. It was backup singers, like them in the studio, kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
back in the days,
Yeah.
where artists would have it wasn't just like a mic and the person, but it was like a team.
For
And that's how
sure.
our album made me feel, like it was a team. So it was it just, yes. And
Yeah.
I love that album. So I
Yeah.
think those are two albums right now that really have me just like, oof, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. No,
yes.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. That make a lot
That's
of
dope.
sense.
That's dope.
So
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
You're
sure.
welcome.
So let me ask you, what would you say your life purpose is, right? I will give you a little bit of mine. I feel like my life purpose is to speak purpose and of course to be myself and to be that free lion so that I can immediately liberate others because liberation is immediate punch. So what do you think your life purpose is?
Mm. Oh, that's a good question too. Y'all are getting me with these questions. I would say my life purpose. To be honest, this question gets me because I feel like I have a purpose, but I don't know. I don't know how to articulate it to say like life happens to you. So I feel like the purpose changes sometimes.
For sure. Yes.
Right
Yes,
now,
that's
I feel like my purpose is just to. I think that's a good question. Hold on, I'm really trying to think. I always say to just live unapologetically myself in all that I do, and whatever that might be. And I think, but in the base of all the foundation, I think I'm a storyteller. I have a lot, that goes on in this mind, and a lot that I want to express, and I want to inspire people, especially Black young girls.
Yes.
Growing up being, I'm melanated here, and I never had really a complex with myself because I had a community of people that made me feel like I was a beautiful Black young woman who was talented, who was smart, who was able, who was capable. And I feel like having that encouragement, that support, that love, that sometimes you need to check yourself, having people just to check you sometimes. I want to be that. Like, I want them to know, like, you are dope in your skin, and what you do, say, and feel, it's purposeful, and you're capable. So I just want to be that inspiration to show girls, like, do what you want to do. Don't allow the society's little whatevers to get in the way of what you want to do. So maybe just, I guess, to be inspiring for another girl to just be dope in her and walk in her truth. That was a long answer, but I hope it answers the question.
That's perfect. I will only say take out guess. It's never a guess with the purpose. It is you be and you become with purpose. Like with a fish, he don't guess to swim. It come with him, so he swims. The bird, she doesn't guess to fly. Soon as she out the nest, she flying, right? So it's never a guess. It's just to be or become. And if it's to become that Black woman, to show these young Black girls, do this, that, you're not guessing with that. That's just for sure. You gonna do that. And we're gonna be here to help you however you want us to help you to get this message out. That's our purpose as well as part of it. We hit us up. Say, I got this plan. How can we collaborate? We all about purpose, so we'll definitely help, push out anybody else's purpose with that. So I also would like to ask you, who is your dream artist that you would love to work with? Please tell the people.
Oh, okay. My first answer is gonna be a two-part. First answer will be Amy Winehouse. I really wish that, I could be like, hey, Miss Ma'am, I would love to sing with you. My next artist would have to be there's so many dope artists to collaborate with.
Yeah, the collab, yes.
Okay. Either this is about to be a three-part answer, but
go ahead, three-part it up for us.
I would say the first person would be probably Kendrick Lamar, just because he can rap. And he's a conscious rapper, and I think even go to his my first concert. Well, not my first concert, but going to his concert, I was like, this artist right here. I want to just be in the ambiance of it all. The second artist I want to collaborate with is Jill Scott, because she's a fantastic writer. Jill Scott.
I can see that.
Yes, just a fantastic writer. The next person, I have to say it, Erykah Badu. Just gives me the vibe. Like, we're just gonna go in the studio, gonna put on the beat. You're like, you just start going. I'm just like, I just wanna collaborate. If we can, I would definitely want to do work with those three artists. Really, I hope so.
That would be any one of those artists. That would be awesome. Just to hear that. That would be awesome. That would be
That's your round. We definitely we agree with that. So lastly, for this interviewing part, what's next up for you? I know you gave us, some different things that's next up, So what else? Do you have anything else that's next up for you that's happening in 2021?
Yes, I have a lot of performances coming up. I have music coming out. I have I'm gonna just be furthering my craft, putting myself out there. So again, following my medias, because I promise you'll see all of that play. But that is my next steps in this career of mine.
Yeah, I hear that.
Great. Sounds great. Now we about to go into our quick 5. All right, so I'm going to ask you 5 questions. We just need 5 quick answers to each question. All right. So first up, tell us one thing that you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your journey.
That there are going to be people that just don't like your stuff, like that don't mess with it, and that's okay.
I hear that.
Absolutely. Now, I think we kind of know the answer to this next one, but which public figure that has passed on would you have loved to have met? Hopefully, talked about each other's experiences, maybe business, potential business opportunities, or just pick their brains for their knowledge.
Nia Simone.
Ooh,
okay.
I think just as an activist and as an artist, she was very smart and very beyond her time to me. So
for sure.
Yeah.
I love Nia.
Great one. Yeah, definitely. Give us your top 5 entertainers from the state of Texas.
Hold on. Wait a second.
That one got me.
I'm in school. I wasn't gonna test.
Right. Wait a second. No test. Just who comes to mind. I know we put you on the spot, so whoever comes to mind for you.
Let's just say Beyonce, Houston, Texas, baby.
Okay. Hey. She take up 5 slots, so
for sure.
Beyonce with Beyonce, yo.
Right, for sure.
Who else? Honestly, I'm not good at knowing people's facts about who come from Texas. And I know it's a lot of artists. This is so bad. I'm not recognizing myself.
It's a lot. That's why I said we putting you on the spot. If Beyonce, if that's the one, that's cool.
Let her sweep all 5 spots. She deserves it.
Good with that.
She deserves it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. So, who are your top 3 people not in music who've inspired you? It could be anybody, even in your personal life.
Yeah. The first person, this is gonna be so cliche, but that's already taken up my parents, my mom, my daddy.
Absolutely.
They've just done so much for me and inspired me in so many ways. They're amazing people. The third person would have to be that inspired me. I think I'm gonna just say my granny too. She inspired me just as a working woman and being financially stable and just always being about her business. I think that inspired me too. That's so cliche, but I don't know.
It's not. That's your foundation. That's where you grew off of. So it makes sense. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I have 2 more people.
This
is gonna be when I was really young, but my 3rd grade teacher, and my 2nd grade teacher, because my 2nd grade, I have dyslexia, and she's realized that I would this is gonna be a long story, but I think they also inspired me to just let me know that even in academic spaces, just because I do have a learning disability, that I'm just as capable. I just need to work harder. So, and I think that played into a lot of my life. So my 5 little slots are taken.
That's good. We take that. That's what's up. I don't even remember my 2nd grade teacher. So that's good.
That's a great answer. Appreciate that. And finally, what do you pray for the most?
I pray for, when I'm praying to my ancestors, angels, and my spirits, I'm usually just praying for my peace of mind because as we've previously said, I'm always in my head. I think I feel like sometimes I'm always just hitting myself with just things that are not true, or things I dislike, or things I know like you could do better. I'm always beating myself up. So I think just a peace of mind and to be confident enough to be unapologetic in whatever I do, say, because if it's coming, if I'm thinking it's true for me. So
Right.
I think that's what I'm usually praying for, and of course just the safety of the people that I love most. So yeah.
I hear that for sure.
Definitely appreciate that. Well,
Thank
people, that is our interview. We want to thank everybody for listening and viewing right now. Please go follow Jordan Orionn right now. Incredible talent. Like I said, just incredible talent, incredible music, man. We definitely appreciate you being on this platform with us. Do you have any closing remarks? Anything you want to say to the people?
It was great being here. And I just, y'all be yourselves, do your thing, be dope in this world. And yes, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. This was amazing, a great interview. So yeah, that's my closing curtains are closed.
Right.
Well, we definitely thank you again for just shining your light on this platform. You don't meet people like you all the time, so thank you for just being yourself and just shining. Thank you. And also thank you again, StreamYard platform, for allowing us to go live this morning for this light. I said this morning, this evening. You see where my mind is. This evening, so this light can be shined. Please remember to check us all out on IG, TikTok, Twitch, and Facebook. We'll be back May 25th, guys, with another interview, and episode 81 is dropping soon.
Dropping soon. Hey, peace and love, everybody.
Love.